Hello and welcome to the DAX Commentary for Wednesday the 6th of March 2019. The time is currently 10:48 a.m. We're looking at the daily chart here, and we can see over the last several days, week or two, price has moved very clearly between the daily equidistant levels here, interacting with the midline, then up into the upper zone here, where it hit the midline, came back down perfectly to the boundary 11,398, and then over the last few days has gone up perfectly to the top at 11,693, and then yesterday came back down to the midline again, and today is in a kind of rangy period. I have taken one trade. It resulted in a small loser. We'll go over that in a minute. But yesterday I did take a trade and it worked out, so we'll just quickly look at that one as well. Okay, this is the trade I took yesterday on Tuesday. Only the one trade, but it worked out well. Price began moving up after the 8 a.m. open around about here. And once it broke above the hourly bear channel here, pulled back, retraced to it. There was a MAB, an M1 MAB there, but not textbook, but certainly worked out. And for an aggressive trader, that would have been a good call. However, I waited for the AB leg to form where price broke above this point here to give us a micro AB leg, giving us a higher high. Put on the Fibcon labels, etc., and entered the trade with the trade tool as shown. Price did come through a little bit and did get, within a few pips of my stop, but then the bulls stepped in and then drove the price up to give a very nice 2.14 hour winner. Another piece of confluence, as I mentioned here, was the 11,600 level, which was right in this zone here. So another reason why, along with the A, B, C, we're in the golden zone. When we look left, we had this micro row reversal here, which in real time was a higher high, a point B potentially. And we also had the 11,600 level in there as well. So this was a great buy trade, and I'm pleased that I gave my stop enough room to allow a little bit of a poke through before price moved on up. So back to today, Wednesday. This is the trade I took earlier on. You can see we have the 8 a.m. open here where price came down, moved back up, and then the bears drove it back down through this region here to give us a lower low. Point B, the session low just above the previous month's high. And I marked up the A, B, C with the open for point A. That to me was the best value structure, rather than looking for a point A in here and considering the M1 MAB, which wasn't good value because of the context and its proximity to the hourly bear channel here. So I waited patiently. I was the bear, and when price came up to here, I entered with a trade tool, and immediately it moved down, which was a great feeling. I did give it a generous stop, which meant my 2 hour was just below the hourly bear channel there. But anyway, it didn't get that far and turned around and began to sort of move back up. And when I looked at the 15-minute and 1 hour chart for a cross reference, and I looked left, I could see that this was a very rangy area, bottom of a range on the higher time frame. So I closed out for a small loss, and it proved a good call because several minutes later you can see what happened. The bulls drove price up through this region and up to the open. A comment here: I take the trade again as it qualifies as one of those setups that was good enough to take but didn't work out. And this is all part of the trader's equation. On another day, that trade would have given us the 2 hour, or potentially more if the mood was bearish and price broke through this, broke through the low here, and certainly broke through the previous month's high. That would have gone on and down at least to the midline. This is the daily midline at 11.45 that we've just been looking at on the daily chart. So you can see that this region had a lot of potential. But at the moment, it's not got worked out that way, and price has gone into a range, and we'll quickly look at that now. Okay, we're looking at the live 1 minute chart of the DAX, and this is the trade I mentioned earlier. Now, when price moved up to give us this A-B leg, we had a golden zone approximately here that I've marked up. Sorry, no, it was lower than that. That's another one I put on. And if price had come down, you know, quite quickly, quite nicely into this region, it would have given us a kind of M5 map. And I was prepared to take that trade. However, that didn't happen, and price went into this sort of micro range where it gradually came down, and by the time it got to this region here, I'd gone off any idea of taking a trade here. And that was also decided upon when I looked at the 15-minute chart and the hourly chart, which we'll have a quick look at now, and it showed that we were in a range. So the you know, the opportunity for me was an A, B, and then a nice reasonably quick move down into this area would have been a nice energetic signature for the ABC pattern. But when this began to happen, that energetic signature was not what I was looking for. It's not the pattern recognition skill that I'm developing in place. So I've passed on it, and actually I would have been entering about at this level, but over here is where I wanted it, not over here. And as you can see, price came down and we're back into this rangy period, trapped between these two midlines here, the 5-minute and hourly equidistant zones. And you can see once price came down here, the bull stepped in, driven it back up. So no trades after this one. This was the only good setup for me this morning. It was a nice A, B, C, and we'll take it again for the reasons I mentioned earlier. I would have considered the A, B, C had this move down with good speed, with good energy, but it didn't. It clearly slowed down, and it became obvious that the session for the time being was going to be a rangy one, so best to stand aside. Okay, let's finish off by quickly looking at the 15-minute chart for the DAX, and this is today's price action. There's the low that was formed, came back up. I sold in this region here and was trading the possibility, the probability of price coming back down, breaking through this area and coming on down into this. It had the potential for more than 2R. However, that didn't happen, as I said, and when I look left along here, you can see that we've got this rangy area here, here, up here, and I therefore decided to pass on any further trades for the reasons I've mentioned earlier. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.